Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and start our next video here. We're going to start covering accounts and setting up campaigns. We'll go ahead and get started first on accounts here. So just click on your little accounts button and you'll have two or three areas. Sorry, three, I can't add. We have the account creator, we have the account manager. You gotta love typos. Account manager. And the account checker. I swear I didn't do that one. That was all on the programming team. I've got to have them update it. So you have the creator, so obviously creating accounts. You have the manager to manage all of your accounts. And then you have the checker. Now what's cool about the checker is this will actually check if your accounts are alive or dead. Okay, so you don't have to manually check your accounts if they get disabled or if they're dead. This is something that happens quite frequently when you're running lots of accounts. You can lose accounts. Depends on if your proxies are burned, if your proxies get burned, if you try to log into too many different accounts with the same proxy, that type of thing. So I put a checker in there so it checks to make sure they're alive or dead or whatnot. So that's a really cool feature. Your account manager, you can go in and see accounts that you've already created. You can manage them, and we'll go into that in just a second. And then the account creator, obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. However, this part is very, very integral here. So I'm going to go ahead and break into why this is so integral and why you need to really pay attention with the account creator. So let's go ahead and click on account creator. So you have two boxes. This is where you put your usernames and obviously where you put your email addresses. You have delay between creating accounts. I recommend 175 seconds. Now, the reason why I recommend 175 seconds is the programmer tells me that it can take up to 2 minutes for a CAPTCHA to be solved. So our CAPTCHAs, again, are 2 CAPTCHAs. Those are done manually in a lot of respects. I believe they're all done, I believe, manually on the harder picture type of CAPTCHAs. So those have to be manually done by some team in the middle of God knows where. So they recommend 175 seconds between each account creation. It really depends on how fast that CAPTCHA is solved. If the CAPTCHA is solved much quicker, it takes it out much quicker. Your max accounts, of course, are the number of accounts that you want to create. So you could say right now we're going to do 5. And then your categories are accounts that you've already set up here. And you can see I was setting up some accounts for one of my members here. So I have Zeke accounts as one of the categories. It's so much easier to track which accounts I've created for who if I'm doing that. I don't do that all the time, mind you. That was with an order. We have video marketing and Liverpool locksmith. So I'm going to do Zeke accounts. You want to make sure that your email is verified. So it will go in and verify your email for you. Now this is a really important one to check off. Rotate email upon account registration failure. Now, what this was to do, the reason why I had this created is, let's say that you have your usernames in and your email addresses in. And for example, your email address, not your email address, your username is not available, even though you think it's available. Let's say that someone else picked it up before you did. Okay, so if you have this unchecked, what it will do is it will take that username. Let's say it says Zeke Rocks. .tumblr.com. Let's say that zekerocks.tumblr.com is already registered. And you don't want it if it's already registered. Obviously, you can't register it yourself. Well, if you don't have this checked, what it will do is it will create a Tumblr account for you instead of just zekerocks.tumblr.com, because Zeke Rocks, the username is taken. What it will do is it will add a word to it, like zekerocksblog.tumblr.com. Now, the big difference here is that if you're doing expired tumblers, which is why we created this amazing beast of a software, then if you want to go after Zeke Rocks, but you get Zeke Rocks blog, you don't have any authority. It's a brand new blog, right? So that's why I have this in here. Rotate email account upon registration failure. If it's not available and you want to skip the account and you don't want it created because you don't want a brand new account and you just want to make sure that you're getting the expired accounts that have high authority, click that. And what it does is that if it's not available, it'll skip it. It'll move to the next one. Okay, so that's very, very important. Next thing is you want to click use proxies. You want to make sure that you're using proxies with this. And then you have your threading, how many threads you want to run. Now, I know a lot of people will be tempted and say, woohoo, 50 threads, yeah, baby. All right, You don't want to do this. Trust me. Even with my monster computer over here, I have this ginormous beast of a machine right there. Alright, so I have an i9 computer. It's got 32 gigs of RAM Octane, which makes it look like about 64 gigs of RAM. It's a super computer. Even with that super computer, 50 threads about melted it down. Okay, so I recommend no more than 5 threads. In fact, I recommend no more than 3 threads. And if you want to play it safe, run 2 threads at a time. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to pause this real quick. I'm going to grab some emails. I'm going to grab some usernames. And we're going to rock this puppy out. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I just grabbed one account here. I'm going to say max accounts create 1. I have my email address loaded in. And I picked up 2... I have 2 accounts here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on run. Okay, it's going to pop up this box here real quick. Now, we're working to hide this entirely. But right now what we found is sometimes when we hide it entirely, Tumblr's picking up that it's a bot. So we had some issues. So what it does is it pops up there and then it disappears down here. Now, if I want to open this up, I can right click and hit maximize. Okay. There we go. So here's what it's doing. It already put in the registration. Now it's waiting for the reCAPTCHA to be solved. So let's see what it does. I don't know which one it grabbed, but it grabbed one of those two. It pulls the names randomly here. So we'll take a look here and just let this wait to be solved, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it looks like it solved the CAPTCHA here. And this is, we'll just minimize that again, and let's go take a look at my accounts. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and click on my account manager. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to take a look to see which one was created here. There we go. So it picked the Californians. Remember, Californians was one of them. Okay, so if we go back, we can see our total number of accounts. And again, we can go back to account manager. And you can see that I had already set that up, so you were able to see it, it did it to the correct category. I can go into the account checker here, and I could check my accounts if I wanted to. So I could export active accounts, export disabled accounts, etc. Now, if we go back over to accounts, this is really important. Let's click on account manager. And again, we'll go down here, and let's select this last one that we just created, Californians, okay? 2 things that we can do. Well, many things we can do. We can export all of our active accounts. All of our accounts. We can export active, we can export disabled, we can remove all. I don't recommend that unless you back them all up. You can remove just one selected one. You can hold down the control key and you can select multiple accounts and then click on remove or add categories or whatever. So for this one, we want to remove this category. So I'm going to click on remove category. Oops. Okay, so it actually deletes the whole the whole category name. Don't want to do that. Let's click on add category. We're going to call this demo test. Okay, I'm going to select account. So I'm going to go down to Californians, hit save. I'm going to hit save, and now it's changed Californians to demo test. Okay, so that's cool. So you can set up your categories, any kind of category you want in here. You can totally set them up, and then you've got full access to whatever category it is. And that's really, really awesome, because when you go back over to account creator, it's very important that you choose the category. Now, you have to set up the category first in the account manager before you can start creating accounts for a particular category. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's how you set up accounts, that's how you create accounts, that's how you use the account manager, and that's how you check your accounts, etc. So just keep that in mind when you're doing all of this. Now, next video, we'll go over setting up campaigns. Okay, so I'll see you in that video.